Wembley is as pretty as a picture, and it is a fabulous stadium for the 127th Cup final. We're just waiting for the magic moment, the traditional singing of Abide With Me, which is just a matter of seconds away now, and it's a full house. Tickets are extremely difficult to get for a Wembley Cup final. In fact, you can't just roll up to your ticket agency and buy one. They are allocated, I believe 50% of them go to the two clubs and the other 50% are already allocated. Let's go live now to Wembley.
The first time Abide By Me was sung, the official hymn of the FA Cup, was the last time Cardiff City lifted the famous trophy way back in 1927. Hello and welcome to the 127th staging of the FA Cup final and the second to be played at this magnificent new Wembley Stadium. The players in the tunnel, and in a quirk of the FA Cup, Portsmouth has held the trophy longer than any other club in the history of this great event. The only win in 1939, and they saw the cup in abeyance for 7 years until after World War II on its resumption in 1946. It's been a season where the Minnows have slayed the mighty in the FA Cup. Mark Bosnich has played here twice in League Cup finals. Mark, welcome. It is a great occasion.
Yeah, always a superb occasion, David, and a warm welcome to everybody in Australia. Good evening to them, and a good afternoon to everybody over here. It's been really building up here the last 15-20 minutes, and really looking forward to the final. Two minnows, as you said, a little bit of a change, and this new fabulous Wembley Stadium. Hopefully it's going to be a great occasion and entertainment for these fabulous fans.
Just a sea of colour. We know that Portsmouth will be in the blue strip, which means Cardiff City, the Bluebirds, will be in their away black and gold strip. There's Dave Jones and Harry Redknapp, so it's going to be a first England manager to lift the FA Cup since Joe Royle back in 1995.
Very special moment for these two managers, two special people, and very well known in football and well respected, and I'm really happy, especially for Harry. He's had a difficult time recently with the death of his sister-in-law, and very, very happy that he can lead Portsmouth out. He thoroughly deserves it.
We just saw the ceremonial placing of the FA Cup on the plinth here at Wembley. South Wales abuzz, as is Harry Redknapp, who was signed as a player, as a 16-year-old for West Ham back in the early 60s when the Hammers won the FA Cup.
A long time ago that was, David.
And there's Sir Bobby Robson, who 30 years ago led Ipswich Town to victory here at Wembley.
Yeah, it's great to see Sir Bobby there. He's another legend in English football. Very special moment now for the players. These moments leading up, these are times that you remember for the rest of your life. Meeting these leading dignitaries.
Here's the official guest of honour.
Thoroughly deserves it.
In the FA Cup final against Arsenal, and Sir Bobby will now be presented to the two teams. So, ladies and gentlemen, please let's show our appreciation.
So Bobby scored twice on his debut as a player here at Wembley. And we'll get to the team news in just a sec. Harry Redknapp has pulled a little bit of a surprise. Brian Barwick of the English FA, who will be in Sydney actually for the FIFA Congress coming up.
Trying to say something there, David?
No, I'm not. I know you may have been invited, but we'll get to that in a sec.
It's also very good to see, well, very unusual as well to see it's Harry Redknapp who's actually introducing the dignitaries and Sir Bobby Robson. Usually it's the captain's job to do that, so I don't know if there's a break with tradition or is this something that they've done for today.
Mike Dean, the referee in Cheshire, outside of Liverpool. Big moment for him. Bobby's just got caught in the carpet there.
Of course, next to Bobby, on the left of Bobby is Brian Barwick, who's the head of the FA.
And what a moment for Dave Jones after all the hardship he went through at Southampton, and I remember getting Wolves up to the top flight of English football.
He's been around for a very long time, Dave Jones, and his teams play in the right way, in the right fashion, and hopefully they can. Usually, teams will epitomise a manager's character, and hopefully Cardiff will do that today because he's a good man, and they play football in the right way. And at the end of the day, football has got a duty to the public. It's the public that's made this game so great and to entertain them.
Dave Jones from the blue half of Liverpool as a player for Everton leads the Bluebirds here for the FA Cup final. We'll pause for the anthems. Land of My Fathers, the anthem of Wales, and God Save the Queen, Catherine Jenkins and Leslie Garrett performing.
Good voice. Good voice.
Both Catherine Jenkins and Leslie Garrett performing in front of a deafening roar here at Wembley as we get very close to the start of the 2008 FA Cup final. For Harry Redknapp, this trophy has so much meaning. The only trophy he's lifted is an Intertoto Cup.
Can't count them, David.
And Cardiff City, well, they are unchanged from the 3-0 hammering they dished out to Barnsley in their final championship match. The two top scorers are there. Joe Ledley, who scored that magnificent winner in the semi-finals, and also Paul Parry, who's been a revelation this season. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has chimed in with important goals at very opportune moments for Cardiff City, the Bluebirds. Hasselbank with 9 goals in all competitions of 2 in the FA Cup. Stephen Whittingham is their top scorer in the FA Cup with 4 goals this term. Darren Pursley, club captain, on the bench, so it's a 4-4-2 combination, Mark.
Yeah, it was quite what we talked about before the game. Whittingham will tuck in on the right-hand side and watch him to come inside. For me, he's their danger man. Gavin Ray will be the guy in midfield who will do all the hard tackling and so forth. McPhail, the playmaker. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank will be very dangerous if they get too close to him. They have to be very careful that they just play him in the right areas. Coming out to Portsmouth now.
And Portsmouth, coming off 4 consecutive losses in the Premiership, have made 3 changes from the side that lost 1-0 at home to Fulham. Coming is David James, back from injury. Sol Campbell, the captain, returns at centre-back, with Sully Montari, who was rested for that home match against the Cottagers, also back in the side. But Pedro Mendes, the Portuguese international, comes in. He'll just tuck into a 5-man midfield. Utaka, big things expected of him on the wide expanse of Wembley. He's at right wing. Nico Cruncher, who's had a fantastic season for Portsmouth, on the left, with Kanu, the sole figure, up front.
Yeah, Harry Redknapp will be looking for their 5-man midfield in defence to outnumber Cardiff's 4. And while attacking, they'll be waiting for one of them, either Utaka, Mendes, any of them, Muntari or Crenshaw or Diawara, to support Kanu. Hopefully, from Portsmouth's perspective, they'll be looking for the Cardiff back 4 to stay, so they'll be basically having 4 men marking one guy, in which they'll try to draw out the Cardiff defenders out of position and have those other guys from the midfield get in behind Cardiff. Toss of the coin now, David. Looking forward to it.
Well, Mike Dean, interestingly, in 2006 was initially the referee, and then he was withdrawn by the FA after they figured that he could not...
They're a funny lot, referees, David.
Yeah.
They have some funny goings on. Yeah, it's a secret society. I don't think we should get into that.
Okay. Well, there is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. What a career he had in a spectacular 2 seasons at Leeds United. He scored wherever he's played. Kanu is currently the most successful African player in club football in Europe. He's going for his 11th trophy.
I was reading beforehand, he was one of the only first footballers that's won a gold medal, Champions League, FA Cup before, I think, and Premier League.
And that
quite a record that is for somebody.
Amazing record. Won that Champions League with Ajax as a young man, and the 96 Olympic Games with Nigeria.
Scored a penalty for Arsenal against me here in the Charity Shield as well.
You have to go back a long way. Cardiff City back in 1927, 4 years after the first final was played at Wembley. As the match gets underway, and Portsmouth champions in 1939, and Portsmouth wear the Bluebirds, Cardiff City in their away black and gold strip. Diarra had the first touch, the first meaningful touch of the FA Cup final. And a free kick to Pompey early on. Sully Montari can certainly fire them from range. Nico Crunchar's there as well. Two-man wall for Cardiff City. It is Montari. He hits it. Enkelman makes ground to his left. Been a good signing for Cardiff City, Peter Enkelman. Took a deflection, and it's always good for a goalkeeper to get their hands on the ball. Early chance. And coming up very strongly, David James. He's tested as Paul Parry used his pace to get Cardiff City into a strong position. Remember, this man's been out for 3 matches with a calf injury.
Got caught out there, a little bit square to Portsmouth defence. I think that was that Sol Campbell? I think that was Sol Campbell, got caught a little bit square, caught napping. Good work by David James.
Tony Capaldi's got a long throw, and he's used it to great effect this season for the Bluebirds. Bit of pushing and shoving between Johnson and Kanu. Roger Johnson with Louvens has been a pillar at centre half for
I told you
that's
another danger man, especially from set plays, and that's Roger Johnson. I said before the game he's a player to watch out for. I think he should be playing in the Premier League. And I think you can see now the consternation amongst Campbell and Kanu is showing that he's unsettling them already. They are very dangerous from set plays, Cardiff.
Capaldi gets some fizz on the throw. Campbell wins the defensive header. And the ball cleared in haste. Kevin McNaughton's the right back in the Scottish lineup. Gets his first touch, launches forward. And the run made, the diagonal run by Peter Winningham, who's a very, very classy player. He's on the ball now. Excellent work. The former under-21 international for England. Hasselbank peels wide. 2 against 1 scenario, and Cruncher wins possession back for Portsmouth. Montari. Here's a quick break on. Good situation. Diarra involved on the right with Johnson. Here's Mendes. Montari's been in the thick of things early. And hasn't Johnson had an outstanding term for Portsmouth this season? At right back. Came on as a sub for England against France. He's very much in Fabio Capello's scenario for the national team. Fabio Capello's at the stadium. Here's Louvens, the Dutchman. And Johnson, the player that Mark Bosnich mentioned. Scored 7 goals this term for Cardiff City. So he's very keen to get forward from the set pieces.
Him and Louvens, like I said, in my capacity as a scout on Boxing Day, I went to watch Cardiff play against Watford, and him and Louvens, along with Whittingham, were 3 of the most impressive players I saw that day, and they are very dangerous from set plays. It's been quite a settled start from both sides. Nothing really, just probing at the minute, and it looks as though, like I said, even though the Portsmouth have said they got just Kanu up front, the 2 wide men, Cranshaw and I think on the other side of Tutaka, are actually pushing up to keep the fullbacks from coming into midfield so they can outnumber a Cardiff in the midfield.
Louvens comes out, strong work. Should have released first time for Hasselbank, but it may fall here. Louvens continues with his run. And just stretched out for the touch as the centre-back Distin was caught out of position. A couple of times both Campbell and Distin have been caught square.
Campbell's missed the last couple of games, so he just looks a little bit rusty. Maybe he's just not started brightly.
Here's Johnson. Diarra. At one stage he was seen as Cloud Makelele's successor at Stamford Bridge in his time at Chelsea. Didn't quite work out for him there. Kanu's going to be a lonely figure up front with a 5-man midfield, but Utaka will look to join in. He's on the ball now. Capaldi. And it's a throw for Cardiff City, who've shown some excellent form in the FA Cup this season under this man, Dave Jones. From Merseyside as a player to South Wales as a coach. Johnson gets a deflected header, so it's going to be a Cardiff City throw.
Like I said, Dave, very settled start from both sides. No really early nerves. And I think out of the two, I think Cardiff started the brighter and the better. But as the boys said back in the studio, that they were correct. Cardiff has to start like this. They have to set the tone early. Because as time goes by, Portsmouth's quality will tell. Here comes a long throw.
Capaldi once again.
That's a corner.
And Mendes conceded the corner, so the first of which to the Bluebirds. And don't be fooled, the Bluebirds are in the black, which is the away strip for Cardiff City, who won that 1927 final for the statistical buffs over Arsenal. The Scottish striker Hughie Ferguson scored. Whittingham in strongly. Montari likewise. He's been in the thick of things early doors for Pompey. McNaughton wrestling there.
Well played, Cardiff. They have to be a little bit careful, Cardiff, when they are going forward. Like, they don't get caught on the break. You just saw then that Portsmouth are going to pretty much try to hit them every time on the counter-attack.
McPhail, who's got a cultured left foot, that's for sure. He and Whittingham provide those attacking moves in midfield, really pull the strings in the middle of the park for Cardiff City. We've seen Montari and to a lesser extent Utaka getting into the fray for Portsmouth on the right, but it is early stages, 7 minutes in. Radisson, the Icelandic international. Vieira dispossessed. McPhail tries to switch play to Capaldi. So very cagey start. Both clubs looking to settle their nerves, and you know, for Cardiff City, in their rich history, last played in the top flight of English football in 1962. Parry made the run, almost found its way through to the Welsh international. Here's an opportunity, just outside the area. Hasselbank made the diagonal run, but Ledley couldn't find his attacking teammate. Here's Cruncher breaking. Kanu coming deep. You can see that congested midfield just squeezing the space from Portsmouth. Oh, clever work, Kanu. Johnson on the right. They need bodies in the area. Johnson cuts inside, then goes out. Clips back, Kanu. Good use of the body. McNaughton. Strong defending by the Scot. Ball there to be won, and it's a tough one. Mendes. It's pulled up by the referee, Mike Dean.
I think it's quite clear what we can see with Portsmouth, what they're trying to do with playing the one man up front. They are trying to draw players like from the fullback position of Cardiff into midfield so that they can break very quickly and get behind. I think they think that Johnson and Louvens are a little bit short on pace, and they're going to look for their quick players to break very quickly, which is a little bit surprising, as I would have thought they would have the confidence in their own quality, Portsmouth, to try to dictate the game from start to finish. But a very good start from Cardiff. But we can see now why and how Portsmouth are playing with their one up front. They are trying to draw the Cardiff fullbacks into the midfield so that they can get in behind Louvens and Johnson.
Looking forward to seeing the battle between Campbell and Hasselbank. It should be a feisty one. Two veterans.
Two very strong individuals as well.
You know, Sol Campbell's got the big match pedigree, scored in the Champions League final for Arsenal against Barcelona 2006. Joe Ledley, the only Cardiff born and bred player in the starting 11. Montari.
Here they go now. Watch for Portsmouth break.
Cruncher. Looks to redirect play. Mendes combines with him, but they've lost their momentum. Hasselbank tries to win possession back. Here's a Radisson. Mendes, who played in that 2004 Champions League final for Porto.
It's a bad ball.
Poor ball, and Parry will have the opportunity to create his foul. That's a professional challenge there by Johnson.
Just coming back, David, what I was saying about, by lining up with this system, if they don't hit Cardiff on the break very, very early, and they get Cardiff... So we're going to interrupt it there. If they don't hit them on the break very, very early, Cardiff look very comfortable once they get back into the 4-4-2 defensive situation. So playing that one man out front has its pros and its cons. It might help you in terms of like outnumbering people in midfield, but if you've got no penetration up front, it can prove quite futile. I think they might have to change it very, very soon because Cardiff look very comfortable.
Of course, Cardiff City got to this point with that Joe Ledley winner in the semi-final against Barnsley. Superb volley in the 9th minute. Ledley joining Wembley folklore with that volley. Sending South Wales into a frenzy. Stroke wide, but ill-directed there by the captain, Stephen McPhail. McPhail, Republic of Ireland international, 7 years with Leeds, so he was a product of the youth ranks at Ellen Road, teammate of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in that period. Mendes. Cransharp pills wide. See if Cardiff City shirts in front of him. Played 30 times for his country, Croatia. Montari tries to return the favour, but it's cut out beautifully by Ray. And a potential break on here for Cardiff City. Hasselbank tries to outpace Campbell, but the touchline wins out. And those two faced each other, in fact, in the 2002 FA Cup final, Campbell and Hasselbank.
That's correct. Chelsea versus Arsenal. That was in Cardiff, and that day Arsenal came out winners 2-0. Jimmy's actually, I don't think Jimmy's won anything major in his career at all. I used to have this argument with him in a joking way when I said you always be top scorer no matter where you are, but when you have a player who's always top scorer, it's very rare that you win trophies consistently.
Well, he scored wherever he played. Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, Leeds, in fact.
Let's see if he can break the duck and win his first major trophy.
Campbell's doing a very good job in the heart of Pompey's defence, but it may break here for McPhail. Lovely run, Parry's in! Oh, great save. David James came out quickly. Paul Parry was in, and that was an excellent delivery.
Great chance. Super delivery, super ball, and I think should have scored. Just stays onside. David James out very quickly, smothered it very well. But I think he'll be disappointed. Parry is a very good chance.
Best moment of the match for the Bluebirds. Ray clips it forward. McPhail on the turn. Outside of the foot, looking for, and Whittingham strikes the ball, takes the deflection, and takes it away from the back upright of David James.
Well, that's a corner.
Things are rolling now for Cardiff City.
Well, I said it 5 minutes ago. Cardiff not only started better, they are playing better, and I think Portsmouth are going to have to change it. That was a corner, in my opinion, that was a corner, but maybe it didn't. Maybe it came off the Cardiff play. Very good period again for Cardiff, who look very comfortable and really should be up 1-0. Let's have a look at this from the other angle. As he come through, very good save. Kept his legs closed. One of the most difficult balls for a goalkeeper to save is the one that goes straight between the legs. Very good save from David James.
And for David James and Pompey, the only goal they've conceded in the FA Cup was a deflected one.
I have to ask Fozzie about that.
Against Plymouth Argyle in the 4th round. In fact, 6 goals scored. It was the lowest since 1903 of any finalist into the FA Cup. 1 conceded, so it's been a sterling defensive effort, but they haven't troubled the scorers on too many occasions. They've got a free kick here. Bistan getting forward, and Enkelman reacted late in the middle, and good defensive work there by Cardiff City. That was slow reaction from Peter Enkelman. Cransharp. Diarra to Johnson. Both goalkeepers being tested early.
Good tackle.
Utaka dispossessed. They don't want to be caught out here, Cardiff City, because Portsmouth get numbers back to win possession. Here's Utaka. Flips it on the angle to Kanu. Mendes. Diarra. Osana Diarra. Had an eye for goal, but didn't have the direction with the shot.
Yeah, that all started from indecisive decision from Peter Ankelman, who put his team unnecessarily under pressure. He could have caught that easily. That's poor goalkeeping, and they nearly scored from that. And that no matter what how well Cardiff has started, how much better they looked than Portsmouth. So a simple mistake like that can change things in a second.
I suppose he's infamous, isn't he, in his time at Aston Villa?
Yeah, I just don't know what he was thinking of there. He got his two hands to it. There was no one around him. He was like pushed it out. He's like gave him a chance. But doesn't matter. So that can change a game in a second. Cardiff has started the better team, had a great chance. David James pulled off a great save. Ball goes up the other end. Easy ball, should be taken by your goalkeeper. All of a sudden, puts you under pressure.
Paul Parry's been lively up front, the top scorer for Cardiff City this term. In fact, came out of a self-imposed exile playing international football for Wales. He was on the sidelines. There's Fabio Capello.
And with his assistant Baldini. Franco Baldini, of course.
Obviously interested onlooker with the likes of Glenn Johnson on the pitch. So Cardiff City have had the better chances, but Portsmouth probably have enjoyed more possession in the opening 16 minutes of play.
Well, for me, like I said, Portsmouth being the Premier League side, has really handed the initiative to Cardiff by playing this one up front, and no one else is really getting in support. And Kanu is not the type of player that's going to be running up and down the channels nor closing people down. So you're going to give away a lot of possession and good possession at the back to Cardiff. And I think Cardiff has just started off better and been the more positive side. There's a little mistake by Enkelman, but other than that, Portsmouth have had pretty much nothing.
Radisson.
This is the man they've got to get on the ball more, Cranshaw. He's the most talented player on the pitch.
And certainly as Craig. And if you're eager for more Wembley action, join us from 4 p.m. on Sunday for full highlights from Wembley in the football feature. And on the World Game from 5 p.m. we'll have Pim Verbeek in the studio to look ahead to the Super June period for the Socceroos. And there'll be an exclusive interview with a man sitting next to me, Mark Bosditch. And I can tell you that it is a revealing chat. I asked the hard questions, and I think...
Yeah, you did, David. You were asking very revealing questions.
I was, and I think I got the good answers too.
Yeah. We might have to redo it. If I have to take a look to see how my hair was looking, because it was very windy.
Yeah, well, I haven't got that problem, as you know, but it was playing up with the
It was, wasn't it? It was. There was like that Fremantle doctor coming in there. Here we go, long throw again. Capaldi. These are always dangerous.
Devon Ray turned wide by McPhail. Capaldi delivers it low, but didn't have the direction.
Shocking ball, Dave. He had all the time in the world to put a really good cross in there, and there's a shocking ball.
Excellent work, Diarra. Wriggles out of 2 challenges, and he's away and almost releasing Utaka. We know he's got blistering pace.
Yeah,
Utaka on the right.
That's exactly that portion of play. That's what basically Portsmouth are trying to do with the system that they're playing, is to draw Cardiff upon them and then to hit them on the break, and then thinking that Luvens and Johnson are going to be quite slow down the middle and have people like Utaka and Kanu rushing on. But it's just not working at the minute. I mean, that was the best type of situation in the game that Portsmouth had to take advantage with the system that they're playing, and it really is not working. I would change it and make it 4-4-2 and bring Cranshaw into the middle and get him on the ball, and then he start pulling the strings. Or else they're going to, they should be down 1-0 already, and they're going to find it very difficult. They don't change things and change it very soon. What you'll find of a cup final, next minute you look at your clock, it's like half an hour gone, then it's half time, then if you're 1-0 down, let's go back to the action anyway.
Peter Whittingham won a FA Youth Cup with Aston Villa. 9 goals this season in all competitions, curls it away from goal. Luvens was up strongly, as was Sol Campbell. So that's a corner for Cardiff City. Sol Campbell's done some tremendous work after missing the last match against Fulham with injury. Nice touch off the England international. A lot of the attacking work comes through this man, Peter Whittingham. Delivers the corner, back post.
Super
David
catch.
James comes out.
That's great goalkeeping. Now this is dangerous. This is dangerous now for Cardiff in these situations when they break. Let's see if Portsmouth can take advantage of it.
Yara using his strength. Cruncher.
Much better when he comes in the middle for Portsmouth.
Montari switches flanks momentarily. It's a good defensive work by Louvens. He and Johnson may not have the pace, but they've certainly got the awareness at centre half. Mendes in front of Sol Campbell. Here's Glenn Johnson. But again, he's not getting forward with any sort of authority. Utaka lost his footing. Hasselbank tries to return the favour on the left to Tony Capaldi, who in turn was a little bit ordinary on the turf. Well, 5 hours and 30 minutes of Premiership football without scoring. Portsmouth, it's the worst record of any finalist for 45 years.
You brought that up continually, David, in the pre-match talk that you and I had. It's a very good point, and we can see why. Playing this way, they're only going to hit teams on the break, and as long as teams are just very guarded when they've got set plays or when they're in good possession like this and things break down and they get back behind the ball, they're going to find there's an individual mistake, like now.
Hasselbank coughed up possession to Mendes, and it works its way to Cruncher. Raderson provides the overlap. Here he is, the left back. Here's Montari. Snap centre. Kanu, great first touch. Kanu against the upright. The Nigerian veteran had the goal at his beckoning.
Oh. Done superbly well. Watch him go around Ackerman, who does well, pushes him wide. But looking back on that, he should have scored. On his left foot, goes around Anchorman, who does well this time, pushes him a little bit wide, but that's an open goal. Basically, that's an open goal. I think he's the only man in football who's got bigger feet than me, but even with size 14s, he should have put that in. He'll be very disappointed. A player of his quality, he'll be very disappointed, even though it's only that. Anchorman does well, pushes him a little bit wider than he should have gone, but that should have been a goal.
Well, the man that scored the only goal in the semi-finals, and Harry Redknapp cannot believe it.
Cannot believe it. And that was funny, we were just talking about how haven't scored for how long, and we stopped them there. So those are the times when they can break, when there's a breakdown in play, when they can come back and that system will work.
And remember, they've got Milan Baros on the bench and limited attacking options, because Jermaine Defoe is cup tied, as we know, with Spurs.
Even though that chance has just gone begging, basically I'd still bring Milan Baros on and change it.
Here's McPhail against Johnson. Stephen McPhail gets in.
Wow.
And that's a free kick on the edge of the area.
Dangerous position.
Excellent work by McPhail. In fact, it was Paul Parry, or Ledley. I'll try again. That's the third time lucky. Joe Ledley, the player who scored the winner in the semi-finals.
Very dangerous position now here for Cardiff. Whittingham with his delivery. Coming back to the Portsmouth situation, and even though that, like I said, they had that chance, I would still bring on Barros as soon as possible and change this thing around. It's all right from broken play. They're basically waiting for breakaways or a broken piece of play like happened before to get a chance, or waiting for an individual error. I don't think that's going to be enough. Anyway, back to the action now. It's a dangerous position.
Good angle here for Cardiff City. Whittingham squares it, and the trigger pulled by Parry. Now potential break on for Portsmouth.
This is where it's dangerous now.
Cruncher. He's got Utaka in support. He'll go outside or maybe go it alone. Nicol Cruncher couldn't get past Louvens.
He's onside.
It's end-to-end stuff at the moment. David James sensed the danger, was quickly off his line. And Tari's got through a power of work in the first half, which is 24 minutes old.
As you saw there, coming back to what I said before, they've got to be very careful, Cardiff, when they've got a free kick or they've got to play in an advanced position and things break down like that, they will be hit on the break. He's onside.
Harry's onside and needed some quality with the first touch. Sol Campbell tracks back and
corner.
Has conceded the corner. Who me? Yes, you, Sol.
Yes, that was a corner. I thought it was a corner. First impression was it was a corner. Let's have a look at it on the replay. It's a good ball. Sol won't be appreciating having to make all those. Yeah, that is a corner.
And it's also a potential banana skin, the age of Sol Campbell against the pace of Paul Parry.
Yeah, especially missing that last game as well. Anyway, here comes the corner across again. Good
Putting
ball.
him back post. And David James initially reacted Cardiff and Luton
David James
came
is
in.
going to be very important to Portsmouth because I said before, Cardiff are very good on set plays, and it's a very big situation for a goalkeeper when you've got 2 or 3 players coming up against you who are of that height and are attacking the ball, and he's going to be very important to dominate that area for Portsmouth. That will take out one sure way that that Cardiff have scored in the previous rounds and can score today.
Last time one of the big four did not win the FA Cup was 1995. Everton won under Joe Royle as coach. He was the last English manager to lift the FA Cup.
That's right. Remember that day? I think it was Paul Ryder who scored. Man United the week before had lost the title on the last day to West Ham, and then lost the FA Cup final the following week.
It's been a United Nations since then. The French have won it 4 times with Wenger and Hulier. Of course, Alex Ferguson in that period 3 times with Manchester United. Jose Mourinho flying the flag for Portugal and Chelsea. Vialli for Italy, and Rafa Benitez in Spain, and Ruud Gullit, don't forget him.
Yep. As we've got Gianluca Vialli sitting right next to us over here. We said hello before. On one side and the other, we've got another FA Cup winner in Ray Clements. So there we go.
We're in esteemed company.
Yes, they are. I mean, we are. Yes.
Whittingham with a free
Good
kick.
header.
Oh, and it's against the upright. Well, that's an excellent set piece. Again, Whittingham providing the cutting edge from the free kick.
Super delivery. I think
No.
David James have it covered, but that wasn't far off. They're going to be a danger on set plays all day. That's why it's so important for Portsmouth on set plays to keep a high line, and for David James to dominate when and where he can. Well, we're coming up to the half an hour mark. Still 0-0. David, how did you make the first half hour?
Well, it's been Cardiff City as far as some good scoring chances. You can see Portsmouth fancy themselves on the break, and that's exactly the way that Harry has set up his team. What was a cagey first 10 minutes has opened up somewhat since then.
Very much so.
It's been entertaining football. McPhail tracks back. Portsmouth, the only Premier League club to reach the semi-finals of this season's competition. And if they had failed to beat West Brom, and for large portions of that semi-final, West Brom did dominate.
Yeah, outplayed them. Good ball.
Would have been the first FA Cup final contested between 2 clubs from the second tier of English football.
Is that right?
Cranchard
This is the man Portsmouth need to get on the ball more.
Lovely skill around Ray. Rebounds for Mendes. And that's a good sliding challenge in from Johnson. Hasselbank trying to release the pace of Parry. James knows the danger. And that's a very good goalkeeping. That's exactly why he's the England #1 at the moment.
He's had a super season. He was in the final 6 of the PFA and the Football Writers Players of the Year. And at 37 years of age, he's had an absolute fantastic season. I've known Dave for a very long time, and I always thought, I mean, he's 2 years older than me, but we had a generation of goalkeepers around our age. I always thought he was the most naturally talented goalkeeper of my generation, and just unfortunate that he had a lot of high-profile mistakes, but he's come back from them. He's shown tremendous strength of character, and I'm so happy for him that he's here today.
Hasselbank, lovely first touch in the middle. Harry presents himself. McNaughton has to track back. He delivers long. Hasselbank again with the run, the angled run. James off his line very quickly.
If Cardiff play balls like that up to their front 2, then Portsmouth would deal with them all day long. Campbell and Distan are just too big and too strong. If they play the balls that have been playing in behind and making Campbell and Distan turn and run, that will cause problems for them. But balls like that are nothing balls, because them 2 are just so big and strong they'll gobble them up all day.
Hasselbank. McPhail flips it back to the Dutchman, who was pushed and really should have earned the free kick. Waved away by Mike Dean. Kanu has come deep a couple of times to gather possession with Diarra. Mendes has done a lot of the bullocking work in midfield. Diarra, another mazy run. Got to his final touch, let him down. Enkelman was the understudy to David James in the 2000 final.
Yes, Enkelman signed for Aston Villa the year that I was leaving. He's a good young goalkeeper, very talented young goalkeeper. He had very unfortunate, as we see a foul here, but he was very unfortunate to make another high-profile blunder as well, and I'm very happy for him to be where he is today as well. See, as we see, Cardiff are playing for me, a very cunning way. When they're in possession, they're spreading out and keeping it nice and simple, so they're keeping good possession. And when they're defending quite high. So they're actually asking the question, they're saying, look, if you think that our two central defenders are slow, go on, put it in behind us. Let's see how quick your striker is. And Kanu isn't electric pace. What they're waiting for, Portsmouth, is that people from midfield to break, but they're not really getting that opportunity. They've only had that opportunity once where they should have scored, but it's not really coming. And I would change it if I was Portsmouth. I mean, maybe it's a bit early, but at half-time, I'll be looking to change it if I was Harry Redknapp.
Well, Kanu's not there, you're right, because of his pace. He's there for his guile and genius, and he got into a great...
And to hold the ball up so people can get beyond him, you know?
And what a position he got into goal. He really should have, a player of his quality should have put Portsmouth in front.
Well, that come after you and I were talking about how long has it been since Portsmouth had scored, but it also come from a broken down bit of play from Cardiff. Crancho got on the ball in the middle. They worked their way, but they worked their way before Cardiff had time to set themselves up defensively. Here we go back to the action.
Muntari may fall here for Portsmouth. Kanu made the run, but McNaughton tracking back, and the final delivery. Utako's been disappointing. He hasn't really provided the pace or the width down the right. A couple of times he's been on the ball. The former Rennes player who scored 5 goals in his time at Fratton Park. Here's Hasselbank. Gets past Johnson. Still going Jimmy Floyd. One way, then the other. Good square ball. And Whittingham was denied there by the defensive work from Sol Campbell. Herederson, it now opens up for Pompey. Kanu hugging the touchline. 3 options in the middle. He lopes past McNaughton. Kanu! And sprays the shot.
I'll give you anything to say that if Kanu had scored that goal before, that one would have been probably in the top corner now. Or much closer than that. It's amazing what confidence can do.
He's that type of player.
I think everybody is in it to an extent. They score a goal in a cup final, next minute they're coming in on their stronger foot, and that would at least been on target. But for me, it's still Cardiff dominating. It's Jermaine Defoe there, cup tied, unfortunately.
He had a famous quote. He said, I had 2 touches in the FA Cup with Spurs, and I'm cup tied. I missed the final. Mendes. Kanu.
Foul.
It's a foul.
Yeah.
Clear foul by Lubens.
No need for that either. I think that was Johnson, actually.
Remember, his career was almost done and dusted at West Brom. Kanu.
Yeah, that's Roger Johnson. And Kanu originally, his career was nearly done and dusted when he had that problem with his heart. And he done a medical into Milan very early in his career. He's done amazing well to come back from that.
Mendes wide. Johnson. Ledley doing the defensive duties. McPhail square. Great work, Johnson! Enkelman reacted well.
It's a better punch.
A little bit too close to the goalkeeper. Muntari. Ray nods away from the danger zone, but only as far as Mendes takes the deflection, but straight into the path of Peter Enkelman.
Cardiff were very happy if they can reduce them to shooting from that distance. Again, I mean, Johnson had a great chance to cross there, but with the exception, really, look, he had a great chance to cross here. Still, that's a goal. I mean, that's a goalkeeper's ball. And if they can get them, if they can put Portsmouth to shooting from that distance out, they'll be very happy and very happy indeed.
Remember, Mendes has kept Papa Bouba Diop out of the starting lineup for Portsmouth. And our coverage of the major finals continues, and it's completed on Thursday morning. Join me in Moscow from 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the UEFA Champions League final between Chelsea and Manchester United, a blockbuster from Moscow, and that should be a fantastic contest. As we're looking at Nico Crunchow on the ball. Kanu tries to turn his marker, but he was offside in the process.
Yeah, massive final. First all British final on Thursday, Manchester United and Chelsea.
Two clubs you played for?
Yes, and very much looking forward to that, as I think as the majority of the world of football are. Man United, of course, coming out on top on the final day in the Premier League, and Chelsea will be looking for their revenge. And I think Chelsea's first final ever, and the first and only, I think there's only been an all-Italian final and an all-Spanish final, and I think that's it. And that's it. This will be the third all-nations final, so they'll be looking forward to that immensely.
Kanu off his chest with a little bit too much space. Johnson gets away the foul in the process of pushing forward on Ledley. And Johnson, one of the high-profile casualties of a teenager going to a huge club. Remember, he made that big money move from West Ham to Chelsea. And took a couple of years to find his feet once more. But certainly has had an outstanding season with Pompey this term. 10 minutes before the break, no score, but chances for both sides. Diarra wins possession from McPhail. Utaka. Muntari in the centre, drifting in as well as Kanu. Utaka dwelling on the ball, and Enkelman makes up the ground, and Kanu scores the rebound. Kanu has struck.
Out of nothing, absolutely out of nothing.
And after missing a golden opportunity early in the half, Peter Enkelman has been done at his near post.
It's absolutely come out of nothing. Enkelman's looked dodgy all day on the crosses. There's the first one he palmed with his both hands, even the one that he punched. And this one, I think if you have a look again, he's just knocked it back into Kanu's path. It's just come out of nothing. Maybe Capaldi could have done better to stop the cross, but that's a goalkeeper's ball. That should just be a goalkeeper's ball, full stop. His position is not good. And there's two hands straight to him, a little bit similar to that one that happened at the beginning where he just knocked it away with his both hands, parried. And that's a bad mistake from the goalkeeper. I'm sorry, but that's a bad mistake. This has come out a goal out of nothing. And that changes the complexion of the game completely.
Kanu with his third cup goal and number 7 in all competitions this season. The Nigerian veteran is on the ball now, and Pompey looking to add to their lead.
This is where Cardiff have got to be careful, David, because they've been on top for the majority of the half, and all of a sudden, out of nothing, they're 1-0 down, and they've got to be careful they don't lose their heads and lose another goal here. If they lose another goal here, that will be game over.
It certainly will be a dangerous 8 minutes or so to the break for Cardiff City. Great momentum in a breath from Kanu with that goal. Enkelman certainly didn't do himself any service at the near post.
If he gets that 10 times out of 10 in training, he picks it up, he catches that easy. That is pressure.
Corner floated in. Enkelman again reacted very late and was cumbersome coming off his line. And confidence is a funny thing. We know he has certainly imploded in his time at Aston Villa a couple of occasions. A famous derby against Birmingham City. And he tried to brush the studs over the ball. And the throw-in from memory. And Utaka. And there's a bounce in the step of the Pompey players now as Johnson tries to play the 1-2 with Mendes. It breaks down. And Hasselbank on the break. Jimmy Floyd.
Bad first touch.
Yeah, showed too much of the ball to Campbell.
Bad touch. Now when this breaks down here, this is where it's dangerous as well for Cardiff. This is where exactly how Portsmouth's system is set up for this. Before they get back and they get settled. And this is the man who pulls the strings. He needs to be on the ball more for Portsmouth. But that's changed the complexion of the game completely. I thought that if I was Cardiff, I would have been very happy, but we're still Portsmouth with the attack.
Ball played square. Kanu to Mendes. McNaughton read the play well. And his fellow Scott Ray comes out. He's a no-nonsense, bustling midfielder.
There's a chance here.
And he's released Parry, who's got great pace. Paul Parry!
Oh!
And McNaughton couldn't make up the ground. Parry should have perhaps pulled the trigger, but he can be wise in hindsight.
I don't know, Dave. I have to look at it on replay. I think that was a better chance than we think. Oh.
Almost got his studs caught in the turf. His last stride there.
I think he took his eye off it.
Kevin McNaughton. The occasion and the moment was there for the Scot.
That is one instance of play where a lot of people I know who watch football and experienced football people would say that is the difference between the Championship, which Cardiff play in, and the Premier League. Yeah, they get a chance like that, or like the one they had before. Okay, you could argue Kanu did as well, but Kanu had 2 of those chances, put one away. Here we see the goal again. That's just, for me, that's just not good goalkeeping, not good position. If he's in a good position, he should be at least a couple yards to his right. He could pick that up like it's coming straight to him. He just knocks it straight into Kanu's path. And really, Kanu, I mean, he should have scored before, but if he didn't score then, I think we would have seen his number come up. Let's just change the complaint. I really feel sorry for Cardiff, because for me, Cardiff has been a better team in this first half, created the better chances, played the better football, and like I said, if I was Harry Redknapp, I'd be thinking about changing things, but that goal has just put a whole completely different complexion on the game now, and Dave Jones will be wanting to get Cardiff in that dressing room, only being 1-0 down as soon as possible as well, but sooner rather than later, because if they concede another, this will be over, this cup final will be over.
Here's Whittingham around Crunchar. It's been a very good battle in midfield. Nico Crunchar has shaded the Cardiff City number 7 as far as quality possessions go, and Whittingham gives away possession.
Trouble now.
Dangerous part of the pitch, and they get players forward too. Montari clips it wide, and that was a poor delivery. Crunchar was in space. Diarra, lovely skill, and was he fouled? Play on, says the referee. Ledley has been very quiet, the hero of the semi-finals, Joe Ledley.
Harsh there, harsh on Portsmouth. I thought that was a good tackle. I'd like to see that on a replay.
So less than 5 minutes before the break.
Yeah, Dave Jones will be wanting Cardiff just to come in just 1-0 down. I mean, it'd be great if they get back to 1-0, but he'd be very, very, very concerned that the confidence would be sapped from the team and they concede another, which I said, well, that would be all over then.
Montari's had an outstanding half. Mendes has done a lot of the bullocking work in midfield. Johnson's been the more attacking of the fullbacks. Radisson's been more withdrawn, but that wasn't well done. The number 5 from Pompey.
Advantage.
We've got possession in midfield through Whittingham, who once again has been caught on the ball.
There's a problem.
Cardiff City player down. Is it Glenn Luvens?
I think it's Steve McPhail.
Yeah, it might be Stephen McPhail. I can assure you that the weather does not give rise to that sort of clothing, upper body clothing.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
We're all rugged up here.
Yeah, we are. Here's that goal again. Well, like I said, number 1 is position. I mean, if he takes another half a yard Enkelman to his right, he picks it up as it's coming straight to him. It's a very, very defensive vision to start off with, and gives the player who's crossing the ball, which I think was that Johnson who was crossing it, David? I think it was Johnson. A far bigger gap to aim towards, because as an overlapping fullback or as a winger, you're always told to find that gap between the goalkeeper and the last line. Now, as a goalkeeper, you can make that gap smaller and shorter. Okay, maybe Capaldi should have done better to stop the cross, but I feel so sorry for Cardiff, because they'll be looking at their goalkeeper and saying, we're under no pressure. Okay, Kanu had the one exceptional chance, but overall we felt as though we had things quite comfortable, and now we're going to go in 1-0 down, where we should be really going in at least 0-0, if not at least 1-1, with that chance that Paul Parry had.
Well,
but here we go.
Early sorting out period, you would have said that the 4-5-1 lineup sent out by Harry Redknapp wasn't clicking.
And it's not clicking. It's not.
Crunchar. Kanu. Montari makes the run, but it's held up for the Croatian international. His father Zlatko, of course, was the coach of Croatia at the 2006 World Cup. Johnson showed too much of the ball, and Campbell read that well, because Parry's got great pace as the Cardiff City player was caught.
Yeah, caught him. Yeah, going back to the systems and what we were talking about, David, as one of my ex-managers, a great manager, I used to always say, it doesn't matter what systems you talk about, it's men that win football games, and I think that was proven to a point. Doesn't matter how the systems were going and so forth, it's men that can win football games and men that can lose football games. Yeah, and they said at the beginning when we done our pre-match interview that mistakes would be very, very important on a big stage like this. And unfortunately for Cardiff, Peter Enkelman, who had the warning at the beginning when he had that one that he parried out with his 2 hands, has given basically Portsmouth the lead. But anyway, let's move forward. And we've got how many more minutes to go now, David?
Probably 2 minutes of injury time, you would think.
That's a foul.
That's a foul on Leuven's. Free kick to Cardiff City, and this is exactly where they have been very dangerous. 60 seconds, in fact, of time added on in the first half. They have been very dangerous on the set piece.
Very silly free kick to give away for Portsmouth with 1 minute to go to half-time. Very silly.
Lack of concentration there by Montari.
Just sloppy, yeah. Just completely sloppy. There's no need for that whatsoever. You're going in, there's 1 minute to go. It's just late, sloppy.
Radisson is booked for dissent on referee Mike Dean, who obviously speaks Icelandic very well. And there's a free kick to Whittingham. The body's forward for Cardiff City. Jimmy Floyd is there in the middle. And body wake at the back too for Pompey. Whittingham. Central. Leuven's gets the touch. And at the back post there was a player flying in. It may have been Paul Parry.
David James is very upset with Radisson for giving away that free kick in the first place. You can see it, but it's another look at that. It's a great delivery. Just finding that gap in between the last line and the goalkeeper, and that's so difficult for a goalkeeper when those balls start coming in like that. And you've got 3 or 4. Anyway, back to the action. This is corner again.
Ledley delivers, and James comes out, but not convincing.
Trouble.
And was that handball? Leuven's lost it, and that's a goal. It's an equaliser. Some desertion in the box there. Mike Dean looks across to McPhail.
Oh, well, what's happened there? Wants to give a foul? Maybe give a foul against the goalkeeper?
I think it may have been.
It wasn't a foul. I think it's handball. It's handball. I think it's handball against Leuven's. Caesar comes out here, and I think when it swings here, he's give handball here. Yeah, it is.
On the arm of Glenn Leuven's.
Yeah.
Who did well just to lob the ball over the outstretched head of Johnson.
We had a little snipe at the referees at the beginning of the game, so we always have to give them credit just as much as we don't give them credit. So it's a great decision by the referee there.
Radisson on the turf. Glenn Leuven's looks up to the referee in dismay, but the replay will confirm that it was the right decision. As part of that 2002 squad of final that lifted the UEFA Cup, Glenn Leuven's.
Harry Redknapp and I think it's Tony Adams over there off the bench, concerned about something. Well, there's a half-time whistle anyway.
And there it is, half-time in the FA Cup final of 2008. And after missing an early chance, Kanu has struck towards the end of the half. The Nigerian veteran who had so much success at his time at Arsenal used his goal to great effect. It wasn't the best of goalkeeping performances in the first half by Peter Enkelman. You can see the centre there from Utaka, the tap in from Kanu, shades of the semi-final, and half-time at Wembley sees Cardiff City 0, Portsmouth FC 1. Thanks, Les. It was an eventful first half. Pompey absorbed some pressure early on. Kanu looked like he missed out on his opportunity to put Portsmouth ahead, but then struck late in the half. An opportunistic goal from a Peter Enkelman mistake. And it's all to play for Dave Jones and his Cardiff City side in the second half. We'll pick up any changes as both teams have made their way on the pitch. There's Harry Redknapp. Remember, he came to Wembley in 1964 as a 16-year-old, and West Ham signed him as a junior. That famous victory led by Bobby Moore.
Sir Bobby Moore.
Correct. At that stage, he was Bobby Moore, but he's now Sir.
Well done, David. Sharp, sharp.
Second half underway. Capaldi launches an early ball forward. Ledley, who was very quiet in the first half, will just get Mark Bosnich's thoughts on what will transpire in the second early on. In a sec, there's a throw for Cardiff City.
Well, first of all, David, I did the rounds at half-time, saw some old friends and that of mine, and everybody was in agreement. So very surprised at how Portsmouth lined up and the way that they played. But also a very good point brought up as we did the long throw.
Capaldi, glancing header. And Ray's not noted for his goal-scoring prowess, but also his strong tackling is a real feature of the Scots play.
Yeah, I was just speaking to Gianluca Vialli, and he was very much in agreement with what Les Murray said about the Kanu role being the holding role, and Portsmouth basically playing on the break and using Kanu to hold the ball up so their players can break from beyond, which is very surprising. That basically that a team of Portsmouth's quality, remember this is the top 8 of the Premier League, handed the initiative to Cardiff like that, and we're very, very lucky then basically to not to go 1-0 down. But unfortunately, when individual mistakes happens, you can have the best systems and the best plans in the world, but they can always be undone by an individual mistake. And you know, really, I mean, Kanu should have had 2. But everybody was very surprised that Portsmouth basically handed the initiative and let Cardiff sort of dominate and look to sort of play a little bit on the break.
As you would expect, no changes for either side of the break. And was that a foul on Gavin Ray? The referee said yes. Gavin Ray one time had the Rangers captaincy and in that period of great upheaval in Glasgow. And Paul Le Guin was in charge, and then Walter Smith took over once more.
And has had fantastic success ever since. On the verge of winning a treble, Walter Smith, if they win the Scottish FA Cup final and the Championship. Tony Vidmar will know all about what's going up there on Rangers. Good to hear his voice as well.
It's great to hear Tony in the studio. Free kick launched forward. Kanu, again an important touch. They need more from Utaka in the second half. He very much was a peripheral figure, but did provide the centre for the Kanu goal. Here's Johnson. Good skills.
Well played.
Mendes will switch play to the left. Radisson. Mendes did carry some weight of expectation coming in at the expense of Papa Bouba Diop, who was a man that many expected to start this match.
I think it's better for our pronunciation that he didn't.
Of course, he made himself famous at the 2002 World Cup, scoring against France. Papa Bouba Diop. And Johnson forced to go all the way back to David James. Of course, has lost 2 cup finals with Liverpool in '96 and Villa in 2000. He doesn't want to make it 3 because he'll join the John Barnes club if that's the case.
Very good point. You told me that last night, David. I'm very impressed with your intimate knowledge of football statistics. Very impressed, my friend.
Some would call it train spotting.
I'll take the compliment, David.
Okay, I'll take it. Yeah. Johnson's got the free kick though, and there's some tall timber getting forward for Portsmouth. Floated in the Kanu direction, and it's a tame defensive header. Good work by Capaldi. Equally well done by Sol Campbell. Johnson hasn't got much space in which to operate. McPhail joins in and wins possession for Cardiff City. Must reiterate, Ledley was an absolute star in that semi-final. He's been a very quiet figure for Cardiff City. We know that Aaron Ramsey's on the bench at 17 years and something like 144 days. He'll be the youngest player if Cardiff City were to produce a comeback and a fight back to win.
It's a foul.
The FA Cup.
Just looking quickly how they've lined up, David, in the second half, it looks as though Whittingham has pushed up a little bit to make Cardiff into playing into a 4-4-3-3. Whether that will continue throughout the second half, but just looking at it just quickly, that's what it looks like they've done, just to change it around a little bit, which will have to mean as well that one of those back players will have to come into midfield, or else they'll be outnumbered 5-3 in midfield. And now that they're 1-0 down, that changes everything, because Portsmouth will be very happy to continue this system and to keep possession and just to play out the game.
It's their best chance. The set piece, Whittingham to the back post, and the header side netting. That was an excellent move And
Well,
Luvens thought it came off the defender. Glenn Luvens was rising high at the back post. This is great danger off the set piece, Luvens.
It did.
It definitely came off the Pompey player.
His hand was up as well. He had to be careful. I don't think it hit his hand, but he has to be careful putting his hand up like that.
Arm was raised, but it just glanced off his head. Sol Campbell, so lucky escape there for Pompey.
Oh, that's
but again, Whittingham was the man from the set piece, providing the opportunity as Joe Ledley is down.
Pushing forward awkwardly here, Lewis. Oh. Joe Jordan's off the bench there for Portsmouth. Pointing out to the players that not to let them back in it and to be very careful. They've actually pushed. You see them set up now. They've actually pushed 2 men up. They're trying to give Portsmouth something to think about. They're actually playing with 4 men up. They will have a go, Cardiff. They just won't let this final just play itself out. They will have a go. It's in their manager's nature, and whatever's in your manager's nature usually epitomises as a team.
Enkelman, this time with a little bit more calm, that saw Portsmouth score that goal in the 37th minute. McPhail. Good switch to McNaughton. And Max combining there for Cardiff City, but the move broke down. Montari got through a power of work in the first half for Porty. And here's Gavin Ray. Hasselbank, was he fouled? Just lost his footing, really. Diarra turns his marker well. Lassana Diarra. Cruncher, clever backheel. Diarra
Chance now.
keeps the move going. Big chance, Kanu! And it took a deflection. Was it handball? The end and sum total will be a corner to Pompey. And Kanu once again presents himself in a great goal-scoring position.
I thought that may have been offside. Yeah, it's a bad finish.
He's off the chest of Glenn Luvens. The cries were out for handball on the Dutch centre-back. Well, on the break, Pompey do look dangerous, don't they?
Well, we said that all along. And that time we saw Cardiff stepping up and basically holding their line, then he got caught.
Diarra. Enkelman again just always looks shaky coming off his line.
Just don't understand why he can't catch them. There's 2 hands, there's no one around him. Doesn't matter. Here now Cardiff are breaking.
And McNaughton, oh, that's a professional foul. It'll be a yellow card, I think, on Cruncher. The man who really did pull the strings in the first half for Pompey goes into the referee's book. Mike Dean producing the yellow card. And a man that's played 30 times for his country. He also has scored some important goals this season.
Yeah, that's a yellow card. Just take the opportunity to say hello to my uncle and all these Pompey fans in Sydney. I promised him I would do that.
It's an occasion for fans all around the world that support both Cardiff City and Portsmouth.
That's a nothing ball. A good tackle by Jimmy.
Jimmy Floyd trying to keep his footing, but twice he slipped to the turf. And Diarra showed too much of the ball on that occasion to Glenn Luvens. Ledley. McPhail. I haven't seen enough of his creative talents. Drives it in low. Hasselbank tries the centering header to Ledley. But Montari tidies up. Utaka hasn't had the chance to use his blistering pace. And a turnover here, Ledley tries to play in parry, but aware of the danger. And great body shape, great defensive shape there by Sol Campbell. He really is irate with his midfield for coughing up possession. Nico Cruncher. And was he fouled by Glenn Luvens, who went across the Croatian international? And that's a free kick to Portsmouth.
Portsmouth again looking dangerous on the break. And one of the things about having 1 man up front, like with Kanu, when those midfielders get the ball, and if the Cardiff defenders aren't pushed up, they'll have the time and the space then to run onto them, and that makes a big difference. Then they can build up momentum, and it's much more difficult for any defender. Tony Vidmar will tell you, when somebody's running at you rather than they've received the ball and you're basically, you've got time to sort of shepherd them or to be on top of them. when they're running at you, even if they're just of average pace, it makes a big difference.
Johnson using his pace to get to the byline. And that's a corner.
Well, it's either going to be a corner or a free kick.
Off McPhail. And a chance to get some big bodies forward too. May have just taken a deflection off Stephen McPhail. If it was the
Glenn
slightest
Johnson
of.
took a deflection off his leg.
And it's Diarra. Hard worker for Pompey. Enkerman this time a little bit more convincing.
That was better for the goalkeeper. You got to push out, Cardiff.
Montari! And can he strike one? Sully Montari. And let's hope that he makes his way to Australia. They play for Ghana in the forthcoming international. Whether that will be the case remains to be seen.
Oh, it was close, but still, as a goalkeeper, if they're shooting from that distance, well, I mean, personally, I can shoot from me all day from that distance, but any top quality goalkeeper will be quite happy with them shooting from that distance. A sort of similar thing happened in the first half, but I think in this half, Portsmouth have started the better side, and Cardiff look a little bit flat, and we're coming up to the hour, and I'll be looking to change it now if I was Dave Jones, because we're coming up to the hour mark. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, old mate of mine, has not really made much impression. I'll be looking maybe to put somebody else up front with Harry to start stretching the Portsmouth defence.
Potential break on here for Cardiff City. We've got some options too on the bench with young Ramsey, and Trevor Sinclair has got plenty of experience.
And pace.
Spectacular clearance there by Montari. Cruncher been at most of the pointy ends of Portsmouth's attacking moves.
It's come a little bit more central, Cruncher, and like I said to you in the first half, and you actually said the same, they look a different team when he's on the ball and pulling the strings. There's this quality. There's Harry there with Tony Adams. Tony Adams, of course, played at Wembley more than any other player, I think, in history. It's 60 times. Old Wembley and new Wembley put together.
Kanu holds it up nicely. Cruncher back to Mendes. Nice switch too. Johnson short. Montari won't pull the trigger on this occasion. Diarra tries to turn Gavin Ray, but Scott was equal to the task there. Ledley is getting into the second half better than he started the first.
Yeah, we want more from him. No, we spoke about him before the game, Dave. We want more from Ledley. I mean, he was like relatively quiet in the first half. And this is where it comes into play with the team, because it does, as we spoke about in the pre-match interview, it does start to take it out of you. We're coming around the hour mark and so forth, especially when you're 1-0 down. So those players that haven't really put it in the first half or haven't had the opportunity to, as you watch the game go by, it's time for them now to step up to the plate and start to take responsibility. Because there's only half an hour left and this final's going to pass them by.
Here's the flying feet of Rutaka. He's got pace to burn. Gets around two defenders and almost a third. And is down now, maybe just got a knock to the knee. John Rutaka.
He's all right, he just wants a rest.
Well, it's played out now by Montari, and he's getting the jeers from the Cardiff City faithful. It was probably his most penetrating run.
Let's have a look.
Wasn't caught there by Ledley, but certainly was by the final Cardiff City player, and McPhail.
Didn't touch it, I think. Just wanted a rest. That famous Wembley pitch to catching up with him, that's all. Thought he would give the boys a rest.
It was hot conditions last year when Chelsea beat Manchester United, but very cool here. But they do say the old Wembley pitch drained the energy from the players. There's Dave Jones. You know, he's guided many clubs in the lower divisions of English football.
He's got a choice to make now. We're on the hour, and that's a pivotal moment in the game, and he's got a choice to make. We start thinking about making a substitute with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, who's been quite ineffective, hasn't really got the pace that he used to have, even though he was my mate, and he's been a great player in his time. He has not got rid of the pace or the penetration as he usually have, but because of his influence and because of the type of character he is, he still does demand the ball. We're going to see a change being made now. We're going to see what and who. Yeah, because of Jimmy's influence and that and so forth and presence, he still does demand the ball, but they're only playing straight balls up to him, and they're playing it pretty much in the air on the chest, and Sol Campbell and Distan are just gobbling them up. Let's have a look now who's coming on.
Aaron Ramsey.
That's Aaron Ramsey.
17-year-old that many feel will be signed by Manchester United in the close season. Been plenty of speculation in the British press over the last week as he goes into the global shop window, which is the FA Cup. Over 1 billion viewers worldwide.
If you're playing balls like that after Jimmy, Sol Campbell will eat them up all day.
Ledley, good first touch.
Offside.
And Perry won't run that down. The flag was up.
Let's have a look who's coming off.
A Cardiff City substitution.
Peter Whittingham coming
Whittingham.
off. And Aaron Ramsey,
Very surprised.
many felt might have been a surprise selection as a starting player, but has come on with plenty of time to influence the match, and they need
Very
a
surprised
spark
to
at
take
the moment.
off, especially with the set players and all. I was very surprised. Unless he's got a problem, which he doesn't look to have. Oh, well, different strokes for different folks.
Scored in the FA Cup match against non-league Chasetown away in that 3-1 victory. 13 starts off this season, off the bench a number as well. There's been plenty of pressure placed on the young shoulders of Aaron Ramsey by the expectant Welsh press. Let's see if he can play his part in the last half an hour of this final. Mendes.
They need to do something. They're out of this game at the minute. They need to do something. They seem very flat. Since they've conceded the goal, they seem very, very flat. They need a spark of brilliance. They need something to happen for them. Because if it keeps going like this, Portsmouth is just going to just stroll to victory. This is where their captain, McPhail, or one of the senior players like Johnson or Louvens or Jimmy Floyd need to start, just to start doing what a gentleman we saw on the picture next to Harry Redknapp, Tony Adams, used to do, which is inspire their team and to do something to spark them off, because at the minute they're just slowly just ticking down time to a defeat.
Distant. Utaka wider for Johnson, who's occupied that channel well for Portsmouth, and plays an early ball, attempted ball into the feet of Kanu, but it was telegraphed for Louvens.
Again, Cardiff look a bit flat, David. There's no one around shouting on that or trying to inspire. And if Portsmouth score again, it's just going to be, it's going to pet her out.
Both clubs have won the FA Cup on one occasion before World War II. In 1939 it was Pompey. In 1927 for Cardiff City. Here's Montari. Lovely play. Mendes chips it forward. Diarra, but McNaughton was across very quickly and sensed the danger. That was a lovely one-touch move by Pompey getting forward.
Third man running. That's one of the advantages when you have somebody playing up in that position who can hold the ball up, and you play the first ball, and there's a third man that will break from midfield who can go onto a flick on or something, and that's what happened just there. But at the minute, Pompey really don't have to do much than what they're doing, and they're comfortable. They'll stroll to victory. Cardiff they really need somebody inspirational now to come out to shout or to get a grip of somebody to do something, anything, just to get their players going.
Good work there by Johnson. Ledley, lovely first touch by Joe Ledley. Here's the first touch for Ramsey. Two Welsh internationals, one a youth product who's now been called into John Toshak's squad for the first time.
He has he?
And Ramsey, yep.
Well, big day for him. It's a foul.
It's a free kick to Ramsey. Of course, the youngest winner of an FA Cup, Paul Allen, started the final in 1980 for West Ham. 17 years and 256 days.
Remember that final, watching it in Australia?
Ramsey's first touch a little bit too heavy, allowing Diarra in. And Tari Famine has been one of the better Portsmouth players. Kanu runs the channel, a long way from goal, but holds it up beautifully, exactly what we were discussing. Mendes switches to Johnson. In turn, Utaka.
Keeping good possession now, Portsmouth. Cardiff are far deeper than they were in the first half. They need to push up, or else Portsmouth are going to use the spaces to keep the ball and run the clock down.
Scored their first goal on over 6 hours of football. After 37 minutes did Portsmouth. A long, long time. No, they've only scored 6 goals in the FA Cup leading up to the final. And don't forget, it's a huge week of football. The showpiece of European football is upon us. The Champions League final between Chelsea and Manchester United, 4 a.m. Eastern. Join me in Moscow for that broadcast.
You going to Moscow, David?
I am. Yes, I've got the passport.
They haven't refused you a visa of your background now?
They did a couple of checks. But it came through all clear, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah. At least I've got a passport.
That's true. That's very, very true. I will find the culprit, that person who's stolen my passport. You'll be hunted down.
And there's Dave Jones. He'll be looking to hunt down this very composed Portsmouth side at the moment. But presently, there's no spark for Cardiff City. Here's Kanu, who's provided plenty of excitement for Portsmouth. Cruncher with a long sustained run, but McNaughton read it well.
Very well.
Early release though, plays in the Nigerian once more. McPhail has to go all the way back to...
McPhail's the one there, he's their captain. He has to get on the ball and start passing the ball into the front people, getting it back and have them then run wide to start creating some spaces. At the minute, the Portsmouth defence are playing very narrow and they're squeezing the play up, and there's hardly any space for them to play. So what McPhail needs to do is to get on the ball and have one of his strikers come to it short. Hang on, there's a chance here.
A surging run for him. Cruncher, one way then the other. Nico Cruncher just couldn't quite get the ball out of his feet to strike. And McNaughton once more with good defensive shape, but just needs to show more composure in clearing his lines.
Yeah, coming back to that, David, McPhail needs to get on the ball. One of his strikers has to come towards, and the other one, preferably Parry, who's got the pace, will have to look for something beyond, like he is now, okay? Because they've got to start stretching this Portsmouth defence, because they're just comfortable. And they've got the 5 people in front of them. One of those 5 is always protecting them. They're just comfortable. Whereas in the first half, here comes another substitution, but this is Portsmouth this time.
David Nugent about to come on.
A replacement for Portsmouth.
John Otako coming off.
Number 17, John Otako, been replaced by number
So largely a disappointing match by Otako. Plenty expected of him.
Yeah, Cardiff, like I said to you, I've gone a little bit flat. This is where that Wembley effect that you're talking about comes into play. Yeah, where they're coming into the last 20 minutes of all the excitement, all the tension and everything, and putting so much into the first half, which is only natural, especially for a team who's from a lower league and hasn't played in a big occasion before. And this is now where they're looking a little bit flat, because this is where the Wembley legs theory comes into play. But they need something. They need a spark. They need to make another change. I was very surprised he took Whittingham off. I would have taken Hasselbank off. But they need to start doing something, and something very quick, as we're now down into the last 20 minutes.
David Nugent, 13 times off the bench this term for Pompey. 8 match started, 3 goals, and scored against Ipswich Town in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. And here's a potential break on. Diarra's been a very busy player. Tries to get past Luvens, but no such luck there. Here's Ramsey. That's a poor delivery for Hasselbank. He's not going to outpace Sol Campbell.
He wouldn't have outpaced him in his peak for a ball like that.
They need a lot more quality at the moment.
Here comes another substitution. I think it looks like that's Robbie Fowler. Is that Robbie Fowler?
Substitution for Cardiff City.
No, he's not even on the bench.
Number 36, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Here we go. Sorry about that, viewers at home. Robbie Fowler's not even on the bench.
Steve Thompson.
So Steve Thompson coming on. Scottish striker. Big centre forward replacing Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Well, if they're going to start playing, well, not start, the whole second half they've been playing route 1 balls, and like I said to you, Parry is very small, and Jimmy Fuller-Hasselbank just is not going to beat Distan or Campbell in the air. So if they're going to start playing the route one, which they have been this half, they weren't so much they were playing it in the first half. They need a big, strong striker up there to take advantage of that. Because they're also, like I said to you, at the minute, Portsmouth are cantering towards a comfortable victory.
Steve Thompson, former Rangers player. On the pitch, has scored 6 times this term for Cardiff City. Here's McPhail. There's David Nugent, in fact.
That was okay. That was okay. You saw a little gap, and there was no one really in the centre. There was somebody coming, they were coming late, and just, again, 2 hands, but okay, fair enough. Okay, didn't take any chances, but that was okay for Nugent. Yeah, gave the eyes and just had a go, had a sneaky go.
And Diarra with the corner for Pompey. Nugent make great position there. Swinging away from goal. And the header was just wide by Glenn Johnson. And they're controlling the tempo of the match. Pompey at the moment. Their physical presence, their spatial awareness, it's all there. They're sitting on that 1-goal lead. And, well, it was threatening to be 2 with that near-post effort from David Nugent. Capaldi. That's the ball up the channel. Ledley squares it for McPhail. Falls nicely here. Gavin Ray looked to pull the trigger, but just dwelt on possession too long.
Good tackle by Crenshaw.
Crenshaw was there mixing it at midfield. Here's young Aaron Ramsey bobbing and weaving. Ledley.
No, not from that far out.
Ambitious strike. Joe Ledley, who was the hero of the semi-final.
No, he won't be the hero of anything if he keeps shooting from that distance.
Dave Jones, what would be going through his mind at the moment would be...
What would be going through his mind is that basically he will feel a little bit cheated in terms of the fact that there was, for me, the better side for the majority of the first half, and then again the individual mistake, and has changed things completely. It's completely taken the life out of Cardiff, and he'd be looking now, thinking to himself, what can he do, or who can he throw on to get them to shake them up a little bit. And of course, Portsmouth's system, as critical as we were of it in the first half, is highly suited to when they go 1-0 up. Yeah. So as soon as they go 1-0 up, it's just like they've got the numbers in midfield to keep possession. They don't really have to do anything sort of spectacular. And it's now Cardiff who are, you know, scoring the first goal in any game, let alone a massive game. This is so important. It's now Cardiff who have to do something and to take a chance. And then the way Portsmouth are set up, you know, they are set up perfectly to take advantage of them on the break. And it's always a sign when you're coming towards the end of the game as well, when the stewards start taking up positions around the crowd.
You've played football and seen a lot of football. Mark, you know the signs, don't you?
Yep.
Johnson tries to clear his line. Ledley clips it in, and Johnson did well in the end.
It'd be nice for the final. It'd be nice if the Cardiff got a goal and got back into it, just to give it a bit of injection.
There's a defensive lapse by Glenn Johnson to open the door here for Cardiff City. Ledley's been a lot livelier in the second half. Can they get some big bodies forward? Curling away from goal. Leuven's with a second impressive rise, but this time his header was off target.
I think that was Johnson, Dave. Number 12, yep.
Yep,
that was
Johnson. Yeah. And Johnson's scored some good goals.
Winning him off the delivery is not as good, but I just hope Cardiff haven't just completely given up on trying to score from open play, because the way they're playing in the first half, they had they created a great chance of parry, and I hope they just haven't given up on that and are waiting for set plays, because the way they're playing, they're not going to get many set plays.
It's a good touch by Ramsey.
This is that's the type of thing they need more. They need to be drawing Portsmouth onto it and playing the ball in behind them, because that's where Distan and Campbell looked a little bit vulnerable in the first half when they had to turn and run.
That's where Ramsey can be very effective. Twice he's got positions in the dangerous parts of the pitch. Just the first time release has been off. Dave Jones knows he's got a potential match winner on the pitch. It just all All pieces of the puzzle need to come together. 15 minutes of regular time remaining, and it's Kanu's goal that separates these two sides. Nugent. Luvens. Ray.
Ooh.
Ramsey, great skill.
Well played.
Youngest player on the pitch at 17. And that's the first touch there for the number 20, Steve Thompson. So just a nice little spell here for Cardiff City. A couple of signs that are not done and dusted. Capaldi with a long throw. Bit of fizz on that. It's flicked back.
Here we go.
Bodies in there. Ray was prominent. Now forced to defend Portsmouth. Easy defensive header clearance there by Hradisson. Nugent. Been in the air a long time as Nick Galton brings it to terra firma.
Hradisson's got to be careful there.
Johnson. Again, Ramsey pops up. Excellent centre in.
Good ball in.
It's a lovely ball by the youngster. Ray. Nice spell here for Cardiff City. The fans are getting involved as well. Johnson plays it down the channel. Lubens looks left, looks right. Kanu won't run that ball down.
Definitely tell Kanu scored. Chasing it down and all that. If you're looking for that, it's another substitution, David.
A Portsmouth substitution.
Mendes being replaced by Papa Bouba Diop.
Being replaced by number 8, Papa Bouba Diop.
All right, can we make an agreement now what we're going to call him?
Well, the shortened version is Diop, and the full name is Papa Bouba Diop.
All right, then. Well, I'm just going to call him Papa. Papa don't preach, right?
You've got the license to do what you please, Mark.
No, David, no. I'm trying to be a soldier today.
Well, we remember the goal he scored Senegal versus France 2002 World Cup.
That was a super goal.
Telling blow against the defending world champions.
Good advantage by the referee there.
Ramsey spreads it wide. Another promising move here for Cardiff City. Thompson to the near post, and Distan gives away the corner. And this is where the fans will get involved and really...
They've got to put this Portsmouth forward under pressure. I think under pressure, these including Sol Campbell, who's been a superb player, one of the best players in the Premier League over the last 10 years. But if you put them under pressure, they're like anybody else there. They look a little bit vulnerable.
Ramsey with the corner! Oh! And that was almost on target. Just took a hop. Bounced over the crossbar.
It's a good delivery.
Excellent delivery in. And it was the Dutchman, Glenn Luvens, the brave header. Just couldn't get the trajectory right.
Not holding on to it a little bit there, Hradisson.
There's a bit of shirt pulling.
What do you think, David?
Hasn't Aaron Ramsey really influenced this match?
He has. He has since he's come on. He's a young kid. He's shown a bit of life, as what I was talking about, shown a bit of urgency. And in many ways to inspire your teammates. Some do it verbally, some can do it physically, some can do it, and he's come on and he's give a bit of energy to them. They needed something, as I said to you, because they were just stuttering basically to a 1-0 defeat. Now the rest of the team have got to take a little bit of, got to take impetus from that and now move. Because, listen, if you're going to lose, you might as well lose 2-0 rather than just sit down and say, oh, we just won 1-0. At least go for it. You don't want to be sat there tonight, with your family or with your teammates. And that's what Dave Jones is now off the bench trying to say. You don't want to be sat there tonight thinking, if only I'd done this or if only I'd gone for it. Rather that you lose 2-0 and now on the break or 3-0 going for a win. That's a silly foul to give away. No need to give away a foul over there.
And it's not Harry Redknapp on his technical area. It's Tony Adams. There's Robbie Fowler.
Yep.
Many thought he'd take his place on the bench for Cardiff City.
I thought before that was him coming on. Never mind.
Well,
never mind. Maybe deep down, I still got him in my mind for my plan. There's Tony Adams and Harry Redknapp there. Just probably discussing now, just thinking how we're going to see this game out with 10 minutes to go. Should we make any, maybe take Kanu off and put somebody just to chase balls down to close the game out? How are we going to do that?
Here's Ledley.
Oh, he's done well.
Almost got past Johnson, who shields the ball, and that's very
Johnson
composed
done
defending.
Very well. Very well. I think he's had a good game today, Glenn Johnson.
Well, he really is fighting for that right-back position for England under Fabio Capello. It's a great shot, isn't it? Harry Redknapp and Dave Jones.
Dave Jones with Terry Burton. Of course, there was on the right-hand side here, Terry Burton was a man who actually discovered Tony Adams at Arsenal 11 years ago. Contrast there, both in their little areas as they line them out for them.
Terry Burton won a FA Youth Cup in 1971 with Arsenal. In fact, you talk about Tony Adams' playing pedigree. He actually had a stint as a coach in Holland, learning his craft.
Yeah, I got very friendly with Tony when I come down to London. He's a good man. He's been through a lot. He's a good man.
And again, Ramsey pops up. Distant is the defender. Right against the corner flag, and done very well. Young man with a big future. Dave Jones made his strongest comment yet about the future of Aaron Ramsey, saying that it's likely he won't be in Cardiff City next season. Plenty of premiership interest in him. Long throw by Capaldi.
That was a long throw.
He really does get some purchase on the throw. Ramsey again the setter. Campbell positioned well. Crancho on the break. In the middle is Nugent. Kanu lopes after that possession. Still Kanu going, but he won't outpace McNaughton. Is that a foul? Yes, it is. It's not a corner.
Sorry to interrupt you before, Dave. I was just about to say it might be time now, coming up to nearly 5 minutes to go. It's 82-30. That they actually even consider putting one of the centre backs up front, and I'm talking about Cardiff here. Maybe putting Johnson and Leuven up front, and really just going for it now. Because they haven't, even with the injection of life for young Ramsey, they haven't really created much in the second half at all. And it's time to throw. I think it's time to throw caution in the wind.
As a centre back, Johnson scored 7 goals this season, including 2 in the FA Cup. Roderson and Aaron Ramsey. And I'm sure the Cardiff City fans will be saying, why not more time to the 17-year-old? But you can always be wise in hindsight. Would have been a brave move for Dave Jones to start Aaron Ramsey in this match.
Yeah, if you could buy hindsight, what price would you put on it?
An enormous one. Here's a break on Nugent. Further afield is Kanu. Spread wide for Cranchard.
Good advantage.
A nice switch here for Johnson. Advantage played by the referee. Now just slow the tempo down. They won't want to play it to Cardiff City's tempo. Bluebirds chasing the match in the last 6 or 7 minutes of play.
They just want to play keep ball now, Portsmouth, that's all. Just keep ball, 1 and 2 touch, just like you would do after you warm up, just warming up for a session. When you're playing in a training session, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of keep ball, 1 and 2 touch, that's all. If a chance arises like this, try to score.
Oh, great surging run. Fantastic opportunity. It was just done. A centre half that has not ventured forward on one occasion. And his first surging run almost resulted in a goal-scoring chance.
89,000, David, people. I think they counted us.
They have.
Were we paying customers today, though?
No, we weren't. But
okay.
Our passes were swiped.
Oh, were they? What, as in stolen, or?
Swiped in the ticket machine.
We've got a bit of trouble trying to get in, didn't we? I think the company we kept was a little bit...
I just had to stop you signing autographs. That was my only challenge. It's 5 minutes left in the match, plus stoppages, and at the moment it's Kanu and
another substitute about to be made. I think Milan Barris is ready to come on.
And maybe the move, it might even be Trevor Sinclair. We'll wait and see. Nugent hooks it over the head. Norton's toiled very strongly. Capaldi floats it forward. And there's some shirt pulling there.
They're never going to score playing these straight balls up like that.
Ledley, early ball played in.
Handball.
And the arm was up there from Sol Campbell. But
Again, yes.
didn't strike his arm. Diop. Kanu was foiled there by Glenn Luvens. I think you'll find Trevor Sinclair is about to come on for Cardiff City.
The final throw of the dice from Dave Jones.
And he's replacing Gavin Ray, the no-nonsense, hard-working midfielder. So an attacking edge to the last remaining minutes of this FA Cup final.
Trevor Sinclair, when I played against him during the 90s, was always a right winger, flying right winger, but he can also play in that position just in behind the front two, or as one of the front men. It looks as though he's going straight to the right side of midfield or right wing. And there's Mill and Barros, we got it right. Sinclair and Barros.
Kanu, the goal scorer, who many thought may have missed his chance in the first half with that excellent opportunity, but popped up in the 37th minute to tap home as he did in the semi-finals. A replay of that goal wasn't one for the highlights reel of Peter Enkelman, that's for sure. Diop.
Papa.
Lifted forward. Diarra's done well. Here's Ramsey, fantastic footwork.
He's done well since he's come on, David, hasn't he?
Lovely switch of play, first touch for Sinclair. McNaughton on his outside, and that's a poor delivery. They needed quality, and they need it very quickly now with 2 minutes of the 90 remaining. And that was the chance. Aaron Ramsey, hasn't he opened up some channels since coming on the pitch?
Yeah, you picked it. You said before the game as well, when we spoke, you said to watch out for this young kid, and you told me last night. So good shout there, David, and he has. He's done well, but unfortunately the rest of the team have been completely flat. And the thing is with these big games, that they do fly by, and next thing you know, like I said, there's 2 minutes to go. And it seems like a second ago that was, that we're waiting here for the national anthem. So, I hope it's going to be a little bit of too little too late. It looks that way for Cardiff, but you never know. You never know. There's funny things have happened.
It's a cup final, and history has proven there can be plenty of twists. 4 minutes of stoppage time just been announced well before the 90. McNaughton plays an early ball in.
Chance.
Here's a great chance. Ramsey.
Chance.
Can't get it out of his feet. McNaughton with a second opportunity at the centre.
Yeah.
Aaron Ramsey from the angle. Strikes it well, but straight into Cruncher, who is released now. Milan Barros on the burst.
We'll just hold the possession up here now.
They need players back in a hurry, Cardiff City. Barros tries to go to the edge of the area, and that's a corner conceded.
Barros done well. And great ball by Cranshaw as well.
At the other end, what a chance for Cardiff City.
Yeah, it wasn't a great chance. It was half a chance. It wasn't a great chance, but it was again your man Ramsey who was causing the trouble.
And they'll take their time to take this corner.
Yeah, it's really been a shame because, like I said, the first half was quite enterprising. I think that goal has it's deflated Cardiff completely. And it's been a shame really because, like I said, the first half was quite bright and busy. I think the second half is pretty much petted out. We'll have the ultimate throw of the dice now here from Cardiff, but it's going to be too little too late, and Portsmouth will win this FA Cup. Barring some type of silly mistake that we saw in the first half from Peter Enkelman, Portsmouth will win this cup final.
And that's a free kick to Cardiff City.
Now surely now they've just got to push men forward. The referee's ready to put out how much there is. I think there's 3 minutes of added time. They've just got to push men forward. If they concede another one now, so what?
Johnson. Distan comes out. Barros on the burst, but Luvens covers him well.
Well played, Luvens. Well, no, 4 minutes. Okay.
4 minutes of time added on, still time.
And they've pushed Johnson up front. Cardiff. And what Portsmouth, or all of the Portsmouth will want to do is just to keep possession. 1 and 2 touch, keep possession. If there's in doubt, you put a ball in like that, okay. But if they're in doubt, don't want to make anything silly, put a ball in like that and then fall back into the formation that they started out with. Yeah, and hopefully Cardiff, yeah, for Portsmouth, Cardiff, they just want Cardiff to play those long, high balls that just stand like this, or Sol Campbell will come and get.
Tense moments for both sets of fans.
What Johnson, and they're going to move off Distan and Campbell and onto the 2 fullbacks. That's where they're going to have to start to have some joy, preferably on Johnson's side because Heritison's quite tall as well.
And Capaldi will deliver another trademark long throw. The Cardiff City well inside the box. Heritisson clears in haste. Tracking back as Luvens. And they go all the way back to Enkelman. It'll start again. Remember, 4 minutes of time added on. Ledley. They need some quality now. Ledley continues with a run, but the return ball from Capaldi didn't have the weight. And they'll just run down the clock now. Papa Bouba Diop going down under the challenge. And you just wonder whether the moment has been lost for Cardiff City.
Oh, definitely has. Like I said, barring an individual error or, you know, some type of a little small miracle, Harry Redknapp will pick up his first major medal as a manager. And congratulations to him, he fully deserves it.
Great sight, the goal to which Portsmouth are attacking a sea of blue flags. The Pompey fans in early celebration, but still 2 minutes to negotiate. Johnson up strongly. It's flicked back.
No.
And was the flag up? Well, David Jones was in strongly on parry.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Eon man of the match here at Wembley, Portsmouth number 27,
Kanu. Kanu has been named man of the match.
Told you when he was chasing down after he scored that goal, he's going for the man of the match. Good luck to him, well played.
I can tell you it wasn't for his defensive duties.
Or his left foot.
A crunching challenge on McPhail there, and a late booking by the referee.
What was that for, David?
Papa Bouba Diop or Lassana Diarra, in fact,
There's no need for that.
has been booked. So all players forward, with Enkelman taking the free kick.
Now this is where Portsmouth need to keep a high line.
Last roll of the dice. Flick forward. McPhail, touch on.
Chance.
And Johnson.
Corner.
And there's a corner, a late one for Cardiff City.
What do you make it on your watch, David?
It's about a few seconds left in this match. And literally the last play here for the Bluebirds.
Poor delivery.
Capaldi fires it in. David
Super
Jones
tape.
will be safe and
Super
strong.
tape.
And that should do it for Pompey. Milan Baros won't take any risks. And there it is. The first silverware in 69 years for Portsmouth. Great relief and jubilation for Harry Redknapp and Tony Adams. And the FA Cup is going to the south coast of England. Kanu the hero, after he looked like he may be the villain in the first half.
Came back well.
The final score here at Wembley in the FA
It certainly wasn't a classic final, but the result that all of Portsmouth
Cardiff City nil,
were urging and wanting,
Portsmouth 1.
and heartbreak for Tony Capaldi and the all-conquering championship side, Cardiff City. Well, there has been an FA Cup of minnows and not the Major League this season, but certainly Portsmouth, who so often under Harry Redknapp have been the giant killers. He's had a reputation, Mark Bosnich, of being a giant killing coach, but he was the pursuer today, and the pursuers didn't get the job done.
He got the job done. I'm very, very happy for Harry Redknapp. He's a fabulous, fabulous man. He's been successful coach wherever he's gone with very small budgets, always been the underdog and so forth. And if anyone's deserved a major medal, it's been him. And congratulations to him and his staff, the club, and to the players. And a great story as well for David James, a fellow goalkeeper, one basically that I grew up with over here, playing together and so forth. Suffered heartache in 2 of these cup finals in previous times with Aston Villa and with Liverpool, and showed great strength of character. And it's a great example to young kids anyway to show that, you know, even Kanu today, that things go wrong, that you can come back. And I'm really happy for David James. Really, really super happy, over the moon.
Well, it'll be a party at Fratton Park tonight, that's for sure.
And also, you know, Harry Redknapp, you know, losing his sister-in-law a little over a couple of weeks ago, and that's, you know, that's a traumatic thing. And he had quite a traumatic year with other things that were going off the pitch, and he just showed his true character. I remember Portsmouth, he was with them for a spell at the beginning, and they got rid of him, and they got him back, and then to come 8th in the league, and there's Crancho there with the Croatian flag, actually, to come 8th in the league and to win the FA Cup at a club like Portsmouth is comparable to Man United winning the championship and so forth.
Well, remember, just a few years ago, Portsmouth were broke. They were the second flight champions in 2003, won promotion up to the top flight. And since then, Harry Redknapp has been a driving force in rebuilding this club. Now got a cult-like following, Harry Redknapp. Plenty of successful years at West Ham, we know. And Pompey are champions of 2008 in the FA Cup. All started with
very happy, aren't they?
Town in the 3rd round.
They're very happy, and good luck to them. It's a fabulous moment, this, once that final whistle goes. I mean, when you're playing, you're not worried about, really, you're just worried about winning. You're not worried about the true quality of entertainment or so forth. It's such a big occasion for you, and it's something you dreamed about all your life, and this is a very special moment now for the players. You're just waiting for everything to be done up, for the presentations to be made. It's something that you look forward to and that you've dreamt about all your life and all your career, and it's a very special moment right this moment in time. And also on the other end of the scale, I mean, Cardiff will be very disappointed, but I think, in my opinion, the way they played and so forth, they should also be very proud that basically a team like themselves have got to this stage, and really only went out by a personal error. I thought they were the better team in the first half, and until that error by Enkelman, that basically that killed them. It deflated them completely, and overall then Portsmouth were just far too superior in the second half.
Word about David James, 2 times a loser of the FA Cup with Liverpool and Aston Villa.
Great story, absolute great story. It's over 10 years before his first FA Cup final.
And he's just so much enjoyed his time at Portsmouth. He's got the #1 position back with England. And that man in the middle has been clearly the most colourful Pompey supporter. Heartbreak on the side of Cardiff City fans.
Yeah. Contrast there. There's Harry.
He loves to entertain. 9 years at Bournemouth, 7 at West Ham, 2 stints at Portsmouth, in between times at Southampton. He's knocked Manchester United out 3 times in the FA Cup, twice at Old Trafford. He has been a giant killer, but he was a man pursued today by Dave Jones, but he got the job done.
And pursued well in the first half, like I said, up and, you know, okay, they had the Kanu chance, which he should have put away with his left foot, but then you know, let's cancel that with Parry's chance. But up until then, I mean, I think if Cardiff had gone in 0-0, would have been a different game. I thought the first half was refreshing, it was bright. The second half, like I said, just petted out. No matter what how Cardiff huffed and puffed. There was basically nothing there. There was no clue or no idea actually how they were going to go about scoring. And I think basically they cracked it in the first half. By turning around the two big centre halves of Portsmouth, they made them look slow and a little bit clumsy, but then they stopped doing that and they started playing the ball, straight balls, which were meat and drink to Sol Campbell and to Distan. But credit to referees as well. We had a little bit of a pop of it at the beginning of the game. But that was an easy game to referee, mind you, but they did what they had to do and they did it right.
Yeah, just a word on Mike Dean after that, disappointed of being replaced in the 2006 final.
Yeah.
So he's now refereed an FA Cup final.
Yeah, there's a lot of these stories in this FA Cup final, isn't there? Here they're going up the stairs now. I think they've actually shortened the stairs from the time when I went up there.
Used to be 90, didn't it?
I didn't count. I was just...
There's a few.
There was a few, yeah.
So Stephen McPhail bravely led Cardiff City, who came up short in this FA Cup final. Of course, champions back in 1927. The pride of South Wales. And that man, 3 back from the front, Aaron Ramsey, I think we'll be hearing a lot more about him in the years to come.
Yeah, definitely. If he can hold his head up, we'll be proud.
And so can the fans too.
Both sets of fans were very well behaved, let's put it that way. There was no hint of trouble in the air. We walked to the game beforehand along Wembley Way, and there was no hint of trouble or anything like that. Was that both sets of fans were superbly behaved, and also the organisers of Wembley Stadium have to take a lot of credit as well. It's a very professional setup here now. It's a super stadium. It always had the heritage and the tradition, the facilities, but weren't really as comparable to other stadiums the rest of the world. But here we go, here's Cardiff coming upstairs now.
So Bobby Robson presenting the medals.
No, that's nice.
A great touch too, having won the FA Cup in 1978 with Ipswich Town.
Yeah, that's lovely. Next to him is Lord Triesman, I think that's how to pronounce it. He's been appointed by the FA. He's a Labour Lord to help with the organisation of the FA, and then to go towards their bid for the 2018 World Cup.
Disappointment, of course, for Peter Enkelman, Trevor Sinclair, who played some late minutes.
It's a fine line between defeat and victory.
So the runners-up medals to Cardiff City.
There's Jimmy. Still no major medal throughout a very successful career. Goal scoring was, but still no major medal.
And guess who's climbing the stairs now? Pompey, led by Sol Campbell. There's Dave Jones. Joe Ledley, who had a disappointing first half but did bounce back in the second. Glenn Luvens tried his heart out, and behind them in the suit, Robbie Fowler. And there's the victorious Pompey players. Brave performance by all concerned in the blue of Portsmouth. In 1939, they upset the hot favourites Wolverhampton 4-1.
When was that, in
1939 to be the last final to be played before World War II, and they held the trophy for 7 years. There are other appearances in the final. Defeated 2-0 by Bolton in 1929 and a 2-1 loss to Manchester City in 1934.
Some of those supporters look like they were at those games.
Their 4th final and their 2nd FA Cup title.
And now making their way into the Royal Box, the winners of the FA Cup 2008, sponsored by Eon.
It must be a sweet feeling, led by Sol Campbell.
This is a super time. It's absolute super time. It's coming up now. This is things that you dream of as a child, and all the hard work and what you gone through and everything. And these are very special moments to savour. You just got to make sure that one of the big things that sometimes people do make that mistake, that you twist the cup and you hold it up to the right side of the stadium.
A man who had plenty of great years, Sol Campbell. Spurs and Arsenal lifts the trophy for the South of England. FA Cup champions of 2008,
Excellent.
Portsmouth.
Congratulations.
Some great stories in the English FA Cup, and this will be one of them. Portsmouth waiting for a major trophy since 1939, winning the FA Cup. And dreams do come true in this competition. Sadly not for Cardiff, maybe another time.